Hello everyone, my name is James. I also grew my 2 checks, and today, well, might be a kind of weird video, but I've been looking into getting into more draft leagues, and I decided it would be cool to do a couple on the channel here, do some team builders and stuff. So this is the first draft league that I'm going to put up on the channel. It is called Legend of the Draft. It's season 3. I am a new coach, and I am the coach of the Toronto Swell Blue Jays. Yeah, like, the team this is just a draft analysis. I'm overall pretty happy with my team. I wish there was some other stuff that I could have had, but like generally it's pretty good team. So I guess let's go over it. There's no place I'd rather be. So my first round pick was Giratina Origin. I was gonna pick Xerneas, but then I realized the Power Herb was banned. So I'm like, oh, let's scratch that, and I had the 10th pick of the draft, so a lot of the good mons were gone. So I decided Giratina Origin would fit the team really well. It's a good Dragon and Ghost type with a great ability in Levitate, making it completely immune to ground type moves. It gets Defog, I believe. It gets Defog. It gets Stealth Rock, which is really nice. Wait, it doesn't? You saw nothing. You saw nothing. It does not get okay, I'm an idiot, but it has some, like, base 90 speed's pretty good. Base 150 HP. Just good, generally good stats across the board. Good move pool, like there's stuff like Destiny Bond. It can run physical or special, because it both has a massive 120 attacks. So you can run like a physical set, or you can run Draco physical. You can run Destiny Bond. You can run defensive with stuff like Roar and Protect and Toxic. You can run offensive with like Shadow Ball or Shadow Claw, depending on if you want to go physical or special. Gets Will-O-Wisp. So this was my Uber pick, and I think it's a really good Uber pick, so I'm really happy with my pick. So next up, I took Excadrill because I wanted a sand team. But T-Tar, I wasn't going to put my resources into T-Tar that early, so I decided to get Excadrill, and if T-Tar got taken, I could take something like Gigalith or Hippowdon, which are both sand setters. So obviously Excadrill does what it does in sand. I'm gonna throw a Z move on it, or a Life Orb, or even a Choice Band. You can just break through things with Earthquake, Poison Jab, Iron Head. And then, like, the last move, you get some good coverage, because you can run something like Rock Slide, X-Scissor, or even Brick Break. So you get a lot of nice coverage on Excadrill. It's extremely fast in sand. And yeah, I've never really drafted weather, so this can be a cool experience. And also, did I forget to mention that it also gets Mold Breaker, and it can be a lead? Yeah, you can just lead off with this thing. You can run Stealth Rocks with some. It also can spin, which is another great thing about Excadrill. Does a lot of stuff for my team. Can be Assault Vest. There's really a lot of options for Excadrill. So next is my mega pick. I wanted something that can just break through things. I wanted something that was underrated and a bargain in Mega Tier 3, and that guy was Pinsir. Now, obviously, it's staring down a 4-time Stealth Rock weakness, but it hits so hard. massive 155 attack with 105 base speed. Can have bunch of attack, bunch of speed. Why do I have 0 IVs in attack? Bunch of stuff that just makes Pincer really good. You can run like a sword stance set. You can run 4 attacks, like all attacking. You can run a stealth rock lead with toxic and storm throw, and not storm throw, like knockoff and stuff. And it also gets aerial rate, which is a beautiful ability. So now you don't have to run Brave Bird. You can just return. It gets 1.5 times damage, and it's also a higher base power and takes less, like no recoil, as the Brave Bird does. So that's pretty much Pincer. So I wanted a good grass type. I haven't really, like, I didn't prioritize grass types very many times in my previous drafts, so I really wanted a good grass type. So I decided to grab one pretty early and take Superior. Has a beautiful ability in Contrary. Another good thing, like, that's underrated about Superior is that it also has base 75 attack, which isn't too bad. So you can run Leaf Blade with stuff like, I don't know what you run, but you get what I mean. You can run a physical set as well with stuff like Aqua Tail and Facade, and maybe not even need Contrary. You can go like Overgrow instead. And obviously there's the traditional set, you know, Leaf Storm, Glare, Hidden Power, Blank, depending on the team, and Substitute. You can also run Dragon Pulse. Gets a bunch of coverage moves. Obviously, Contrary is what makes it good, because it can fire off these crazy base power Leaf Storms and get a special attack boost. But it also can be more defensive as well, with maybe like Leaf Storm, Giga Drain, and then Defog and Toxic or Glare or Knockoff. It gets a lot of coverage moves, and I think that's why Superior, like you only see one Superior set. When you think about it, there can be so many different options that you can use. So I'm hoping to use Superior to its full extent. So obviously, Steel types are necessary. Fairy Drake, Steel Core. I already had Excadrill, but I wanted one that could also hit from the special side as well as the physical, so I took Lucario. Obviously, as I said, it can deal damage from both the physical and the special side with Aura Sphere and Focus Blast, plus Flash Cannon and Nasty Plot and Vacuum Wave. On the special side, I don't know why Vacuum. Yeah, it gets Vacuum Wave. And then on the physical side, it gets things like even Blaze Kick. It gets Close Combat, Meteor Mash, Earthquake, Extreme Speed, Mach Punch. It gets Mach Punch, right? No, it doesn't. It just gets Extreme Speed. Alright, you saw nothing. But it has priority. It also can set up with Sword Stance, Nasty Plot. Lucario, like, that's one of the best things about Lucario. It actually has higher base special attack than attack, which means that if your opponent expected, say, a physically attacking set, you can run a special attacking set and really bop their team. So that's why I liked Lucario on this team. Next up, I need an Ice type, because in previous draft leagues, I just got burned, and I got hard walled by ground flying, bulky types like Gligar and Gliscor, and some dragon flying types, because I didn't have a good Ice type. So I decided to also prioritize that and grab my man Kyurem. So originally I had Kyurem Black, But I decided to go with normal Kyurem instead. They're very similar. Kyurem, obviously, having great attack, great special attack, great speed, great HP. Defensives are pretty great. So it has good stats overall. You can run Metronome. I've seen a lot of Metronome. Subboost obviously is a thing. Gets stuff like Draco, Earth Power, Ice Beam. You can go physical with Outrage and Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, Stone Edge, stuff like that. So I haven't really had very many bulky mons, but like with 90 base defense and 90 base special defense, it's still a good bulky mon. So you can run something like even a cool little Endeavor set with Substitute, Toxic, and Roost. You get Roost, right? Yes, you do. Alright. So Kyurem just fills in some giant gaping holes. It also gives me a more offensive dragon type. So Giratina isn't the only dragon. And as of now, I know I need a fairy, but I had a plan for it, and I had a backup, so I wasn't too worried about it. So I have my dragon, I have my steel, I have grass type, and I'm gonna draft water and a fire type quite soon. So let's go back to this team. Porygon Z in tier 4 is not fair. Like, I think Porygon Z is extremely underrated because, like, you can run just Choice, Specs, or Scarfed, or Life Orb and just bop something. It also gets Nasty Plot. So if it comes in against something that probably somebody's just going to switch out, you can Nasty Plot right in their face. And now you got a +2 special attack. So you're already at 135 base special attack. And now you're at +2. Like, nothing is gonna want to take, like, I don't know, Tri Attack, I guess. Like, nothing's gonna want to take even a Hyper Beam. Like, you can run Hyper Beam on this thing. Like, nothing's gonna want to take a Thunderbolt or an Ice Beam or a Shadow Ball or a Signal Beam. So it has a lot of versatility, as I said. So yeah, I just chose Porygon Z because it's a normal type, which I didn't have. That it already fits my team pretty well, and I've drafted a very offensive team so far, but as you can see, the defensive mons are coming in, so I decided to grab one last offensive threat before going into the more of a defensive standpoint. So I took Donphan next. Donphan is Donphan. It does what Donphan does. Custap is now legal, so you can run Custap Explosion. Or Endeavor. Custap Endeavor, that's a cool set. I've never actually tried Custap Endeavor. But you can run rocks. It actually has a great attack, which nobody really talks about. Nobody talks about its base 120 attack. So it can dish out some massive damage. It gets priority in Ice Shard. It gets Stealth Rocks. It can also spin, knock off, Stone Edge, Toxic. Has a lot of good coverage moves that make Donphan extremely threatening, while also being a good defensive mon to switch in and rapid spin or fire off a Toxic or go for Earthquake knockoff, stuff like that. And like, I knew that at this point in the draft, I was going for more of an offensive team, so I decided to take a step back here. And Donphan can also be used offensively too. It can use Trick Room. I don't think it gets Trick Room, but something like probably Delphox gets Trick Room. Yeah, Delphox gets Trick Room. So if it sets up a Trick Room, Donphan, with that base 120 attack, can just start hitting things with Earthquake, and it's going to do a crap ton of damage. So I think it's underrated offensively, and obviously it's great defensively. So that's why I chose Donphan, I guess. I took Comfey. The Comfey was my plan all along. Has good defense, good special defense, pretty good speed, pretty good special attack. Has great ability in triage. It's great move pool, synthesis, draining kiss. It also gets Trick Room. Also gets U-turn, so it can pivot out. It gets Leech Seed and stuff, which I believe goes first. Same with Draining Kiss, Giga Drain. It also is another defogger. But obviously Comfey is most known for its either defensive set or its Calm Mind Draining Kiss set, which is really hard to deal with. So I have always wanted to use Comfey, and I think this is the time to use it. So now I have my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and as you can see, I did draft a Fire Water Grass Core, and I got some good types. So I felt like I could afford to draft a one-type Mon 3 times in a row. I took Delphox next. I needed a fire type. Delphox was sitting there in tier 5, tier 4, whatever, I don't remember. And it's the best one there, in my opinion. Like, I have a pretty good, like, dark resistances and stuff. Like, I'm only really weak on 2 Mons. So I wasn't too worried about, like, a dark weakness. In my original plan, I was extremely dark weak, and I kind of drafted stuff like Tyranitar and Lucario to like stop that dark weakness. So now that I have my man Delphox, it's also another fighting resist that my team kind of struggles with. Has pretty good special attack, pretty good speed. Delphox is a really underrated Mon. And also, it has kind of a knockoff counter in Magician. It can steal the opponent's item if its item gets knocked off, or if you just have no item. So you can run this cool no item set to bait and knock off. Obviously, Fire Blast, Psychic / Psyshock. It also gets great stuff like Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, and Dazzling Gleam, which is good coverage. It gets, obviously, Hidden Power. It gets Grass Knot. It gets Flamethrower if you were looking for a move that doesn't miss. It gets Toxic, Trick, Will-O-Wisp. It even gets Wish. So, it has just good potential overall. Next up, we have our Tyranitar here. Tyranitar was still on the board, so that's why I took it. It has great base stats. Sand Setter. Tyranitar is Tyranitar. I don't think I really need to explain him much. And last but not least, I needed a bulky water, and I needed an electric. And I only had enough points for a tier 5. So I took Lantern. This is an underrated Mon. It's fat. It's really fat. Base 125 HP and stats otherwise. 2 amazing abilities. You could choose whether or not to be immune to electric or be immune to water. So say if your opponent has Manaphy, you're going to want to run around Water Absorb. Or if they have an electric terrain team, you're going to want to run Volt Absorb. The capabilities with Lantern are amazing. So, it does get defog, I think. No, it doesn't. But it gets Hydro Pump, Ice Beam. It can Volt Switch. It can Toxic things. It can even go on Physical, but that's probably not a good idea because it has a crappy physical attack. But it can Thunder Wave things. It has status. It heal bell. So it's a cleric. It's just good overall. So anyway, this is my team. Expect like games getting posted soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe. Please, 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 bye.
Oh wait, there is no gameplay. Ha 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 ha. Okay, I'll go.